The state kept track of some transgender Texans who sought to change the sex listed on their identification documents. That revelation came from a trove of records obtained by the Texas Newsroom and KUT. Today we're going to learn more from the reporter who uncovered this information and what she learned about why the state may have done this. So joining us this afternoon here in the studio is Lauren McGaughy. She's an investigative reporter and an editor at KUT. Lauren, welcome and thanks for being with us.
Of course, happy to be here.
So these records came from the Texas Department of Public Safety. What did those show about the kinds of information getting collected and how that process may have worked?
Sure. So for a really long time, decades, transgender people could get a court order from a judge and then take that to DPS and get their driver's license updated so that their court order conformed with their gender identity. But last year, the state decided to end that policy, and they also asked their employees to report anytime someone requested one of these changes on their state documents. And so the documents we got were more than 100 pages of records that the state tracked every time someone came in and asked to update their state driver's license.
So you had a chance to talk to someone who got flagged in this process. What did he have to tell you, and how many others may have had their information collected in this way?
Right, his case was really interesting. This is a trans man that lives here in Texas, and he actually had already updated his passport and his social security card, so these really important federal documents. He wanted to update his driver's license, went to the driver's license office. They said, oh no, you need to submit a little bit more information. So he voluntarily submitted his passport to DPS, and then he was reported to this special internal email address that was tracking all of these people making these requests. He actually didn't know about that before we reached out to him, and he wasn't aware that the policy had even changed when he reached out to the state for help.
And did your records, the ones that you obtained, did they show how many others may have been this same thing happened to them?
Yeah, this was just a 6-month period since the policy change went into effect, and there were at least 42 cases that were flagged by the state in that short period of time.
So interesting. So put this into context for us, because there are some other moves that have been made lately by state leaders regarding this very same thing.
Yeah, it's right. Transgender Texans have been in the crosshairs of Republican politicians in the state for a long time, a decade. And so slowly the rights of LGBTQ people in Texas, but transgender people in particular, have been whittled away over the last several years. Just on Friday, we actually saw this opinion come out from the Attorney General's office that said, in his view, it's illegal for someone to update their state documents in a way that doesn't match their original birth certificate. And there's also dozens of anti-transgender bills that have been introduced at the Capitol, including one that would criminalize and jail anyone whose documents were mismatched, so that could apply to these people.
Yeah, we covered that closely just a couple of weeks ago with a reporter who joined us to talk about it. But what did you learn about why this is happening right now? And is there any reaction or explanation from a state agency or a state leader that you reached out to?
We got no explanation, reached
None
out
at all.
to nothing, no response even. Reached out to DPS, to the Attorney General's office, to the governor, all asking them about these internal records. These are their own governmental records showing that they are tracking people who are requesting these ID updates. And we did not get a response back. So I'm hoping that maybe someone watching might have some explanation, but we're gonna still keep digging into it to see if we can find the reason.